YouTube, and Sterling will share it on Facebook. And Layla, if you would please lead us in a meditation. Lead
Oh,
Regina into a meditation.
yeah.
Okay, can we go to the beach or like where are we going today?
Yeah, let's wait and see because I don't even know. Okay, so you
We're
ready?
going on an adventure. We're going
Yeah.
on an adventure. Well, welcome to Lighten Up, and you're going to be a part of a very special show today. And so I want you to pull up your seat and get ready, share it with your friends in the network, let them know that something amazing is about to happen. I'm here with my girls today, Regina Gobinas, Layla Khan, and Sonia Williams, and we are Lighten Up. It's time to talk. To kick off our show today, we're going to do something amazing for the four of us and for you. Layla Khan, the life coach of lifeacademytoday.com, right? And author of 101 Ways to Overcome Life's Biggest Obstacles, is here, and she's going to lead us into a meditation. So get ready and go on this adventure with us. Layla.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, so I would love for everyone to just close their eyes and take a deep breath in and exhale when you're ready. Inhale, exhale. Inhale once again, and this time drop your shoulders. And release, dropping your shoulders. Relax, relax, relax. Soften, soften, soften. I'd like for you to just imagine right now that you're walking down a sunny boulevard. Sun shining, birds tweeting, hardly anybody around. You're feeling really, really good within yourself. You see this amazing hotel lobby, absolutely stunning, luxurious hotel lobby, and you walk in. You walk in feeling really, really good, feeling confident, feeling self-assured, feeling guided. You walk in and you walk towards the lift. I can't remember the American word. So you walk towards the lift and you press the button and the doors open and you step in into this glass covered, mirrored covered lift, and you press the down button. And as you press the down button, the doors close and you find yourself just relaxing, feeling really good. As the lift goes down, 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 deeper and deeper, deeper down. Deeper and deeper, and as the door opens, you walk out into this absolutely stunning landscape of the beach right in front of you. You look down at your feet and you take a step forward and another step and another step, coming off of the ground and actually onto the sand. And you walk and you keep taking steps forward and you feel the warmth of the sand in between your toes. You can still hear the birds, and it just feels so good as you hear the water from the ocean in front of you. Then you take a seat, and you take a seat, you sit down on the sand, and you take a deep breath in. There you go, take another deep breath in, feeling the warmth, feeling the sun, noticing the sounds around you, closing your eyes, and connecting to this deeper part of you, this part of you that is divinely guided, this part of you that feels like a spark, the spark of your life energy, the spark of your inspiration, the spark of the divine. You feel the fizz and the tingle, you feel the energy of this source aspect of you, and you just feel it. You feel how good it feels. You notice what you notice. You hear the sounds around you. and you ask this question: how powerful can I be today? How much deeply can I be aligned to the divine today? How connected can I be to Source? And how can I inspire myself and others with my words and my energy today? Feel into this. Notice the colors, notice the sounds, notice the energy moving through you. And I want you to awaken gratitude. Thank you. Just say this prayer, thank you. And thank whatever comes to your mind for the next 5 to 6 seconds. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep going. And then when you feel guided to, I want you to just bring your hand to your heart chakra, bring it over your heart, and just feel this gratitude over your heartbeat. Noticing what you notice, noticing what you notice. And because this space is so beautiful, you choose to stay here. You choose to stay here and bring this moment into our conversation and our exploration today. So with another deep breath in, when you're ready, open your eyes.
Thank you, Layla. If you've never experienced meditation before, that was meditation, taking you into a place within yourself because you have a resident God living on the inside of you who wants to do amazing things. And in meditation, it gives us an opportunity to clear out all of the junk. The word of God becomes more real and is activated during meditation. It is getting to a quiet place that you can begin to see the beauty that is truly God, whether it's on the mountain or at the ocean, regardless of where that is. We encourage you to wake up in the mornings meditating and to go to bed at night in a state of meditation. We've got an exciting show for you today, as we always do. If you've been following us in social media or you have been watching us on Roku, Amazon, Apple, Samsung, Zingo TV, or other smart television apps, you will know that we always tackle the hard to tackle subjects and we bring light and life to those conversations right here on Lighten Up. It's time to talk. So if you missed the introduction and this is your first time, I'm Dr. Faye, and I want to introduce you to my fabulous co-host, Regina Globinus, a business strategist and my good friend. Yes, and we have Layla Khan, who just led us into this wonderful meditation. And as I said earlier, she's a life coach and she's also an author. She is an amazing, amazing young woman from the UK. Yep, she's all the way across the water from the UK, and she is sharing with us her book. Even today, she has it with us, and she always has it with her. She always has it by her side. 101 Ways to Overcome Life's Biggest Obstacles. Look at it right there, right there, right there. And my girl Sonia Williams, right there in Las Vegas, mother, mover, shaker, entrepreneur, life giver of three children. Sorry, forgot one there. 3 children, and she's doing amazing things. And I'm telling you, if you've seen some of her shots across the internet, you know that she believes in keeping in shape. She was telling us about lifting 50 pounds earlier, and but she's learning to adjust that so that she doesn't hurt herself. Our conversation today is going to be one that I think whose time has come, and we're going to talk about caring enough to confront. have you ever had something that you needed to talk to somebody about and you were afraid to? You felt a little bit intimidated. You sized it up so many times and you still backed off because you were afraid. Maybe it's your employer. Maybe it's an employee. I don't know how you could be an employer and you're afraid to talk to people, but you got to be able to cross those bridges. So, are you one of those people who freeze up when it comes time to deal with difficult issues, difficult situations? We've had some difficult conversations in our on our planet here lately. In the world, there have been some difficult things that have happened, and some people just didn't know how to bring the conversation into their day-to-day walk, and so they feel uncomfortable, whether it was about race, whether it was about politics or religion or whatever it is. I don't know what it is for you that you find difficulty in having those conversations. Maybe it's an ex, I don't know. Maybe it's a future. I don't know. But what is it for you? And how do we approach difficult conversations? Is it them or is it me? Can somebody tell me? Ladies, let's talk.
I think the biggest confrontation for me personally was with myself after my difficult divorce. And the confrontation was, and I know it sounds bad, and people have asked me, why do you say that to yourself? I had to confront myself and tell myself, this is the result of your choices, right? You chose this guy, bottom line. Wrong guy, bad guy, but there was so much damage and chaos after that. The reason I wanted to take responsibility, and he was abusive, and people have told me, how could you be responsible? And I said, if I confront myself and if I take responsibility, the pain of that will never allow me to make the same mistake again. Because if I think that it's all him and I did nothing wrong, most likely I will once again pick the wrong guy.
Wow.
Yeah. So the first thing for me was confronting myself. That was the biggest one, right? Because we have to evolve as human beings. How can we do that if we don't confront ourselves with our own mistakes? And we think the conversation with somebody else is difficult, confronting them. Try confronting yourself on the biggest mistakes of your life, when we want to blame everybody. But you got to stand there, look in the mirror and say, look, it's your fault. You chose this. For most, I mean, there are special circumstances, of course, but for the most part, confronting myself has been the biggest eye-opener, the biggest way to expand myself, the biggest way to be good in my life. So confrontation with myself absolutely has been the key for my evolution and success as a human being. I've really, really strongly believed that. Yeah.
Wow, Regina, that is so huge. Thank you so much for putting that on the table. We don't want to deal with us because it's so much easier to just push it off and say it's your fault.
Yeah.
It's your fault that I'm like this. It's your fault that I don't have enough money. It's your fault that my marriage was destroyed. It's your fault. Regina, how do we do that? How do we confront ourselves? Because that's difficult.
It's very difficult, but you have to decide for yourself that you want a better life. You have to decide for yourself that you have to acknowledge for yourself that the clock is ticking on our lives. It really is. We can sit there all day long, blame everybody, but the clock is ticking on your life. And you have to decide that you want to live a life worth living. I mean, that is the key for me. Yes. That is the key for me. And when people say, it's difficult for me, well, it's actually less difficult to stay in victim mentality. It would have been much easier for me to blame everybody, be bitter, not get myself off the hook, not to get my life back in order. It's easier. I know people think it's hard, but it's actually easier. But truly try telling yourself it's your fault getting into an abusive relationship. That's some hard stuff you have to look at. There are certain patterns with certain people. They go from one bad relationship to another. That is because they keep telling themselves it's the wrong guy, it's the wrong girl. Well, how about you keep picking them?
Yeah.
These are very difficult conversations. So for people, I think you have to decide that you want better for yourself. You have to decide that you want to be a better example for the people around you. You see, we don't realize that we truly do impact bloodlines to follow. What I mean by that is my daughters are watching me. They're going to raise their children. They're going to raise their men to be kind, hopefully, to other people, and then never to hit women, because that's what my husband did. So, and then their children will raise children accordingly. So we don't realize that we impact bloodlines to follow, generations to follow. We think it's just us. So for me, it was a responsibility to leave a good generation, to leave a healthy bloodline that impacts the world in a good way versus the bad. So what's the imprint you want to leave? What is it?
Your legacy.
Yeah, what's the legacy?
Making a mark that cannot be erased.
Yeah, we just don't. We're people are selfish by nature, so we never think that far. But what are your children watching? If you don't have kids, what are your nieces, nephews are watching?
Exactly.
What are you putting out there? So, and my children watch me really be hard on myself, be responsible for myself, be accountable, say most of the things in my life, the bad that happened, if you ask me, I'll tell you they were my fault. I will say that, but it's taking me 40 years to get here, right? But I wanted to do the work. I wanted to do the work. That's the thing. You have to decide that you want something.
And I think we have to be mindful that when we do confront ourselves and we're looking at our issues, really looking in the mirror and identifying the things that have held us back, that are really lodged within our own human consciousness and the way we believe, the way we have framed our world inside of ourselves because of the way we were raised, the things that were done to us. And so we got all these layers packed upon us, and we have to, at some point, and I've spoken about this before, get to the place that we, like the onion, start peeling all of the garbage back, getting down to the core, the God thing in us, so that we can live fully and completely, intentionally, purposefully, fulfilling the call of God upon our lives. And in this climatic conditions that we have now, it is so, I feel, a matter of urgency that we do confront. Thank you, Regina, so much. I love you. That we do confront ourselves, and then we can confront others because we can't give away what we don't possess until we really get in there and start examining ourselves under the microscope of God's word and allowing people. And I'm so glad I have you guys because, you know, iron sharpens iron, and in the multitude of counselors, there's safety. When we get in the company of people that will speak truth to us, no matter what, we have to be open to receive it. And a lot of us can't receive it because we haven't dealt with that stuff inside of us. So like, why are you mean to me? Why did they did this to me or they did that to me? Because we're really doing it to ourselves.
We are. And last thing I want to add is when you confront yourself, I'm not talking about sit there and beat yourself up for the mistakes you've done. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying be aware of it, acknowledge it, learn the mistakes, move forward. Like my mind is very strategic. I don't get stuck anywhere for more than 30 seconds. So what's the lesson? How do I avoid it? How do I not get back there again? That's it. It's really simple, but you have to decide. Everything in life comes down to your decision. That's it. And the beauty is that it's your decision.
Yeah. Sonia, I know you want to jump in.
Oh yeah, because I'm like sitting here going, oh gosh, what a perfect conversation.
Off the chair, like, hurry up, Regina, get it out. Go ahead.
I'm like, hurry up, get it out, girl. But I'll be transparent. That's what we do here, right? We're very transparent. And I think I'm the only one that's married. But just recently, Regina, what you're saying is confronting.
Today.
Oh, that's right, today. Don't get it twisted, Sonia. Okay, I'll correct myself. But I'm just like sitting here going, oh my gosh, recently I've had to confront myself in my marriage. And I'm very transparent about that for my husband and myself. And I'm thinking like, God, you haven't given me a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. And we have a choice, Regina, like you're saying, I can apply that to some parts of my life, or I can apply it to all parts of my life. So my husband and I recently, after 31 years, we just celebrated our 28th anniversary in June, but we actually, we knew something's like, and we're very transparent. We knew that we had to evaluate our marriage. And it's something both of us had not done, but I'm sitting back waiting for him. He's sitting back waiting for me. And you would think after all that time, all these years, we could just come to one another because our relationship was built on communication initially. So we're like somewhere along that way, we've allowed things, and we have to take responsibility. I have to confront that within me and stop waiting on him. And so I was praying. I said, Holy Spirit, okay, come up in this conversation. And because we were willing to come together and have that communication, that conversation, some things were broken. It left an open door for me to confront myself and say, look, you've got to evaluate, what have you done, Sonia? What have you not done? What has he done? What has he not done? So we weren't playing the blame game, right? There is no blame in that, but it's the truth that sets us free, right? So I had to be truthful with myself and say, look, there's some things I need to change within me. It's a work in progress. You know, it's a process. It's not just going to happen like that and just change, but I have to be willing, like you were saying, Regina, everything we do, we always come back to this one thing, is a choice. You choose each and every day what you're going to do, what you're not going to do. So it's my responsibility. And so because of that, I can see us progressing going forward, and we haven't arrived, but we're working towards that. So, you know, I totally agree 100% with you. It's like, Sonia, evaluate you. Look at you. What are you responsible for?
Sonia, given that you're married, what was the first step that you took toward confronting the lack of communication between you and your husband? Because someone has to take the first step. And like you said, you were waiting on him, he was waiting on you. So how did you get over that difficult place right there? Because that's a difficult place when you've been doing it for now, what, 20, almost 30 years?
Yeah, 31 years we've been together. I just decided, well, first of all, I began to think about, why did you get together in the first place? Because it's so easier to look at this door, that door, and say, let's go out this door, let's go out that door, you know, just to say whatever, wash, you know. But I just decided, it goes back to a decision, having that choice. And I started like writing things down. Okay, Sonia, evaluate this, evaluate that within yourself. And then just, I have been praying, really, I had really been praying. And I felt like God was saying, it's time for you to step up, for you to take that initiative, you go. And I just walked in the room one day and said, hey, let's talk. I didn't place the blame on him. I said, you know, I'm feeling like I want to get back or begin to work towards where we started from. And that opened the door. And it was like, hey, yeah, you know, we both came into agreement. Like, we're not blaming one another, but we know, you know, when you know something's wrong, whatever that could be, but you're just like, I know something's wrong. It just doesn't feel right. But you just really don't want to even touch upon that for whatever reason. You don't know what's the repercussions, or even when you're talking to somebody else, you don't know what their response is going to be. And it kind of is like, oh, I don't want to do that. I kind of had that little like achy feeling, you know, when you're going somewhere and you just feel nervous about it. But I was like, this is somebody I've been with for 31 years and I'm nervous to speak to him. This ain't right. Something's wrong here. So it's just taking that step. Just doing it.
Wow. That is so huge. 31 years and then being afraid to confront on this issue, because it's as though you're describing two people who went in different directions, not even conscious that you were going in different directions for all of this time, because the babies came, life came, and you were just going to work, trying to make the bills, trying to do whatever you were trying to do. And during those times, I suspect that's what's called drifting apart, but still under the same roof, becoming roommates instead of husband and wife.
You got it.
So Dorothy finding her way back to Kansas, finding your way back home. And it just took somebody being bold enough, courageous enough to take that one step. So, you know, we congratulated you for your anniversary, but we congratulate you again, Sonia. Yay.
Work in progress.
Good job. That's exciting that you were able to move past that moment. And I think that is the most difficult thing, is just that first step. It's the baby taking the first step into a new territory, because now you can have this new foundation, you know, a brand new foundation coming from a different place, because now you're 30 years more mature than where you were 30 years ago. So you get to start over again in life. And Layla, I don't know where you want to weigh in on this conversation right now, but certainly we want to hear from you because you are the one who wrote the book.
I got so much to say.
You got so much to say, you had to put it in a book, but see what you can tell us today.
Yeah, no, again, I love the timeliness of our conversations. The things that we've been talking about as well. So one of the things that I do during the week, I co-lead a group of men and women who have been in abusive situations or are currently in abusive situations. And last night I delivered a masterclass on healthy relationships versus toxic relationships. And it's just so timely to what we're talking about today, because one of the things that I shared was exactly as Regina was saying as well, is that you have to look within. And when I was in an abusive relationship, when I was in situations and challenging relationships, I would kind of look to, let me give you the context actually. So the ex-husband, because I'm careful of what I possess with my language, because otherwise that attachment stays in our energy field. And so the ex-husband, he cheated a couple of times. And I think it was around the second time where I really, I've always been introspective, and I sat and I looked within and I asked myself a really powerful question. And the question was, so he's cheating on me, and if each of us is a reflection of one another and God wants us to see our divinity, if he's cheating on me, how am I cheating on myself?
Mm-hmm.
He's abusing me, or somebody is abusing me. How am I abusing myself? That person's betrayed me. How am I betraying myself? Yeah. I'll never forget. I mean, even just then, I just got the goosebumps going over. I'll never forget the moment that I asked myself these questions and sat with the kind of the strength and the weight of these questions, because it literally expanded my consciousness. It expanded my mindset to be like, okay, asking these questions has opened a doorway. It's opened possibilities. It's given me some sense of freedom, regardless of whether I like the question or whether I'm going to like the answers. Confronting myself opened the gateway to discover, yeah, I've been abusing myself by being so negative, by criticizing myself, by being so hard on myself, by using language that isn't kind, that isn't loving, that isn't encouraging, that isn't supportive, that isn't like God would speak to me, right? And how am I cheating on myself? Oh, I'm staying in a job that I don't like. I'm around relationships and people that I respect, but actually they're not reciprocating. Mm-hmm. And I'm betraying myself by not saying no, mm-hmm. and by saying yes when I actually want to say no, Mm-hmm. And so that lesson literally was just a shift in that relationship. And I knew from doing that inner work that it was time that I was starting to make my way out of that relationship in a healthy way, by taking and learning the wisdom and the treasures and the lessons that situation was teaching me. And so this is about taking responsibility. When we're avoiding confrontation, it is hard. You don't want to tell the person that you love or that you care for that you're upset or that you're sad or that things have changed, or that that they're overstepping the mark, or that you can't speak out your boundaries. But avoiding confrontation is, when you think about it, it's just another label of this conversation, of communication. Yeah. And so it takes courage to take responsibility. But if we don't take responsibility for how we feel, we're keeping that energy around in that space. Like Sonia was saying, I mean, I did this with my ex-husband and so many other relationships, where I just didn't say how I was feeling, and that energy just lingered. And then before you knew it, it was like, you know what, we're at breaking point. We have to talk. We have to say what has been going on. So avoiding confrontation, it really comes down to coming back to the intention,
Mm-hmm.
coming back to the intention,
Yeah.
and maybe preparing yourself, you know, like I was saying to some of the group last night, shifting your identity, yeah, seeing yourself in a different identity, not as the victim, not as the weakling, not as somebody who's stuck, but maybe just a little bit starting to believe in the value, in your own value.
Yeah. And stop believing the lies that
Yeah,
other people have spoken into you,
yeah,
whether it was your parents or the ex.
yeah.
uh, Not believing those lies, because we are not who they say we are. And whatever we believe about ourselves become true to us, not because they said it. It becomes true the moment we take it on and we own that. And sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time in our lives, we have been living a lie. And these people are the people that we encounter, like these people, the people that we encounter are sent. I really do believe they're sent into our space to help us to grow. And we don't identify their purposes early enough. And so we get mixed up in all kinds of unhealthy and ungodly relationships, and we find out that there were things that were there that we didn't know they were there, and we didn't talk about them because we didn't want to lose them.
Mm-hmm.
We were just going along to get along. We were blending in because we didn't want to rock the boat, you know. I don't want to cause any trouble. Women who have been abused have spoken to me many, many times over. I've spoken to abused women for many, many, many years. Battered women shelters, been there, spoken to these women, and the stories, you know, that when you're brought to a place that you can't speak up for yourself and you can't confront even your abuser, you can't confront the person who's hurting you, you have placed yourself in a place where you've lost your power. And if you are one of those women and you're still in that situation, this is a moment that you can do what Regina, what Layla, what Sonia said. Time to start examining yourself. The Bible says examine yourself. Put yourself under the microscope and see what's going on in you that is continuing to allow these things to happen. It's okay. God gave us a voice for a reason, to use it to speak, to use it to speak truth, to use it to be honest with their own self. And this voice is good. But let me tell you, the loudest voice we have is that internal voice, the one that's there in the midnight hour when nobody else is on the phone, nobody else is talking in your ear. It's just you and you and you and you know, these voices in our head, all of this traffic that's going on up here that we need to put a stoplight, right? As we confront it, got to put a stoplight here because this can get really noisy up here. So noisy that you have insomnia, so noisy that you cannot find peace. You got a lot going on the outside, but you got more going on in here. So when we talk about caring enough to confront, yeah, self-care and care about yourself, because you can't give away what you don't possess. To thine own self be true, then thou therefore cannot be false to any man. I just quoted Shakespeare or somebody.
Beautiful.
But it is so true. When we recognize who we are and the value and the worth that God has placed on our lives, then we find ourselves in a place that we'll start talking. You know, we'll do what Sonia did. It's time to have a conversation. I want to get back to where we were, but the thing about it, they won't get back to where they were. They're just going to be better than they've ever been, right? It's just going to get better.
And the thing is as well, like we're meant to grow emotionally, spiritually, physically, maybe. You know, we're meant to grow.
Truthfully.
Yeah. Hopefully. I mean, I've been like 5 foot something since, 12 years old. I still wish I were a little bit taller. But this journey called life is one of growth. And so if we don't say how we feel, if we don't connect to like the new versions of ourselves, if we don't tap into where we're at and do things to challenge ourselves, of that comfort zone, out of that familiarity, we'll stay stuck, right? And that's not what life is about. We're meant to grow. We're meant to embrace the journey of
The new
spiritual.
version of ourselves.
Yeah.
I love that. When you said that, I went, whoa, that is so powerful. And I know you said that before, but new version of ourselves.
Next level, yeah. There's always another level, and it's uncomfortable. Like I'm going through another next level in my business, you know, identity, just personal growth, you know, and it's just like, oh, this feels uncomfortable to do things this way and to say this and to show up in that way. But you know, it has to be done, otherwise I'm stuck. And to be honest with you, personally, I have felt stuck for the past year. And I'm just like, I'm over it, I'm done. So we all have to do this work, you know, and it's uncomfortable, but that's where the growth is.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to say something really quick. A friend of mine, and I don't know if we have time for this, Dr. Fates, your call. A friend of mine reached out, she's doing an article, and she said, do you mind writing an article, things you would tell your 18-year-old self in life and business? And I don't know why. She said, get it to me by, I think she said Saturday night. And I don't know why 2 nights ago, I was going to go to bed, and something kept telling me, get to your computer, get to your, and it just flowed throughout me. It just flowed, it just came out.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that, I don't know if we have a couple of minutes, I'd like to read through some of the things.
Yeah, we do.
If you have to stop, do we have time or no?
No, we got time. We got time. Go ahead.
It was put on my heart that maybe this will serve somebody, because this is,
Sure.
so I'm writing this, it's a little long, so cut me off on your time. We can
No,
finish.
I won't do that. Mm-mm.
I sent it to, I've been dating somebody for a while, and I sent it to him.
That's where you were. Oh.
No.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. And I sent it to him. He called back. He goes, oh my God, I'm blown away. This is amazing. So we read through it together before I submitted it. He goes, I said, honey, this is like a blueprint for you not to screw up this relationship. Like, you have all of the inside information. This is how I function. He goes, can you email me the list? I'll save it on my computer. I said, you can't fail this relationship. You have the blueprint, the inside information. So this is for an article. I'll let you ladies know when it's published. So, my darling 18-year-old self, if I told you now about the life that awaits you, you would not believe me. This life will test you. It will push you to the edge of sanity. Please always remember that things always work out. You will also achieve things in this lifetime that will blow your mind. You will get to do in a lifetime what most will not achieve in 10. You will impact thousands of people. You're chosen for amazing things. You're gifted beyond your wildest dreams. Be proud of yourself always. On this journey called life, you will make mistakes, some more painful than others. Learn from it all, but also be kind to yourself and give yourself grace. Do not forget to always tell yourself, I love you and I'm proud of you. Trust the process, submit to the process, allow the process. Most of the pain and agony is self-inflicted. Watch your every decision. Take full responsibility for it all, especially for your mistakes. Do not make emotional decisions. Emotional decisions in life and business are awfully expensive. Know that you are in control. Please always remember that life is not a dress rehearsal. This is the main performance. Make it Oscar winning. Mm-hmm. Do not ever forget that you are the product of the limitless, the divine. You are the reflection of God himself. Therefore, there is nothing you cannot do. Mm-hmm. The world will always try and tell you otherwise. Do not listen. Do not submit to the chaos and the noise of all that is around you. The same principles that will make you happy in life will also make you very profitable in your business. Life will always be what you make of it. Listen to your spirit. It always knows best. Have a mentor you trust. Avoid people who always have something negative to say. Do not expect people to be happy for you who could not even be happy for themselves, even on their best day. Sometimes people who you think have all the answers are really struggling themselves. Invest in yourself. That will always be the shortest path between where you are and where you'd like to be. Guard yourself against becoming collateral damage of someone else's demons. Watch less TV, read more books. Spend time with nature, it will recharge you. Listen to the wind, sometimes it has all of the answers. Do not forget to pray. Write down your goals, look at them daily, stay focused, stay consistent, stay the course. Never be afraid to walk away. Never. Do not ever compromise your values and morals. Your reputation is everything and extremely fragile. You best always keep it in perfect order. Be willing to adjust to new plans. Do not overthink things to which you already have the answers. People will always tell you who they are. Believe them the first time. This will save you a lot of heartache. Always keep your word. In life, as in business, this will become one of your greatest assets. When God redirects your path, and such times will come, do it quickly. The sooner you adjust, the sooner you will enjoy the yield of your obedience. Keep great friends for a lifetime. Trust yourself. Love is a verb. Love with your actions. Do not ever withhold love, and love so completely. When people ask you who you are, never forget that first you're a child of God, and then I'm going to start crying, and then everything else. Do not attach your identity to what you do and the job that you keep. Daily, read and do things that expand your mind. Keep things simple in business. Simple is extremely profitable. Care for people. Care for them because you care and not because you may get something back from it one day. Help people without expectations. This will make you incredibly happy in life. Life happens one day at a time. Do not overwhelm your heart with trying to figure out the rest of your life at 18. You cannot. It's not possible. If you take perfect care of today, God will take care of your tomorrow. Surround yourself only with people who support your vision and your mission. Do not put the expectations to always support your journey on your family. It is your journey, not theirs. Protect your goals, dreams, and desires. Be very vigilant who you share these with. These are always yours to guard. Walk away quickly from people who hurt your heart or your business. Have less people in your life, but have the best people in your life. Have a why that is so big that during those times when you feel like you do not have any more left within you, your why will help you push through. The world is a very loud place. Guard your mind and your heart from it. Do not listen to it. Do not submit to the chaos and the noise of all that is around you. Care about people more than you care about money. This will make you wealthier beyond your imagination. You're worthy, you're qualified, you're loved, you're adored, you're always enough, you're perfect as is, and you are limitless. Do not waste your time on foolish people. Walk with God, and this will be your saving grace always. Do not ever engage in revenge. Revenge is an awfully expensive line item, emotionally, mentally, and financially. You are stronger than you think. Do not stop moving forward. When you feel like giving up, this is precisely the time to press on. You're meant for great things, things beyond your wildest. You're meant for great things, things beyond your wildest imagination. It is okay for you to become tired. Rest when you need to. Be kind to yourself. When you make mistakes, give yourself grace. Always listen to your intuition. It does know best. Do not work with people you do not trust. Do not transact with people void of moral values, who lack high ethical standards and do not possess great self-control. Pay people what they're worth. Do not try to do anything alone. You will always go much farther with a team. Your handshake is worth more than any signature on paper. The best relationships in life and business are always built on high moral values and trust. God created you for a specific purpose. Search for it, live it, be it. Your goal is to achieve your original blueprint. I love you more than you will ever know. That's it. I'm gonna start crying.
Oh,
Oh my.
beautiful.
Beautiful.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Wow. We could just cut the camera off now, folks, but we won't. We won't do that. This is so powerful. And Regina, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Whew. My gosh.
Thank you.
Extremely powerful. When we're authentic, when we're transparent, we can go really deep. I like what you shared with your 18-year-old self. And I think in light of that, that each of us need to talk to the little girl or the little boy inside of us and bring that message home. And what would you say? What would you say to that one who was abused and was hurt and molested, what would you say to that person? What would you say to that little girl who doesn't know who her daddy is? What would you say to that little boy who feels rejected because of the color of his skin? What would you say? I think we've been given a gift today to sit down and have that conversation in the form of a letter and just talk to that woman, talk to that child, talk to that person, have that conversation, talking about confrontation. Confront her, confront him. And that's the beginning of being healed and free of all of the things that have held you bound thus far. God created us in his image, and we are limitless beings. And Regina brought that out. You have capacity that you have never tapped into before. You heard her. She was talking to her 18-year-old self. You, the counselors, the mentors, the coaches that are even in this room today, offer gifts and services and products that can help you to get to your next level. Don't do it alone. Regina, I think that was one of the most difficult things and challenging things for me to discover. I'll just do it myself, but that's not God.
Mm-hmm.
When God created the heavens and the earth, and he looked and saw all that he said it was good. And then he said something else. He saw that there was no man to till the ground. So he went to the ground and he brought man. Yeah. Then he said, when he saw man, oh, it's not good that man should be alone. So he caused the deep sleep to fall upon him, and out of his side he brought the woman. God is about companionship, connectedness, communion, fellowship, intimacy, relationships. And many of us have discovered over the past few months how important true relationships are and the value that we place on them has gone out of the roof because we realize there are people who are with us for the rest of our lives into eternity. And then there are those who fell off. They needed to, and it wasn't quarantine that pulled them away. It was God, because it was time to let it go. So we encourage you today, my friends, to have this conversation with your younger self, and then have this conversation with your present self. Confront any issues that are going on in your life. And if there's a place inside of you where you're stuck, then there are coaches and mentors here that can help you get unstuck. ReginaGobinas.com, write it down. LifeTodayAcademy.com. Did I get that right? I did it. I still don't get it right. Just jump in anyway. You know how formal we are. Go ahead. What is it?
Life is today academy.com.
Life is today present. Life is today academy.com. And Sonia, how do we get in touch with you?
You can look me up on Facebook, Sonia Williams, or kingdomwealth.neora.com.
That's the one I want, your website. Yeah,
Kingdom Wealth.
That's the one I want, your website. And I'm drfaye.com or nctntv.org. I look forward to hearing from you, as all of my co-hosts do. You can private message any of us via Facebook. We'd love for you to connect with us, and be nice when you do, because we love hearing from you, and we will pray with you, love on you, and share with you as much as God has given to us. We want to pour it into you. You've been listening to Regina Gobinas, Layla Khan, Sonia Williams, and yours truly, Dr. Faye. And this has been another fantastic Lighten Up. It's time to talk. And we'll see you next time. Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Kisses and hugs. Bye-bye, y'all.
We can do the next session, confronting others, because this was perfect.
It was one of what we've said it before. Oh my gosh, it was such an amazing show. I have to say, Regina, wow.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that was totally Holy Spirit speaking through you.
Yeah. I'm throwing roses.
Yeah. Catch them, girl.
I'm telling you, I was trying to go to sleep and sometimes like, get back in there, get back in there, get back in there. Yeah, what I wanted to say, but I'll try not to forget in the next recording is, I think it's good for all of us to write ourselves a letter at 18. How do we want to live, let's say, at our age, and then see, are we living that life? Are we living that life? It's a lot to reassess. Yeah.
Yeah. Whoops, I forgot to stop.